Hi, this is Tamara from mooglyblog.com, and in this video I'd like to demonstrate how to make the Pampering Massage Soap Saver. This soap saver is great for both store-bought and specialty made soaps. For instance, here I have a bar from Bean Tree Soap, which I highly recommend, beantreesoap.com. She makes excellent products. I wish you could smell this, it's amazing. But as you can see, the soap saver, let me pull the label off real quick. The soap fits right down inside. And I've tested this with like ivory too, and it fits just fine. You can cinch it up, and there you go. And it's got these great nubbins to make it a little scrubby. So let me set this aside, and I'll show you how it's made. We're going to start with any worsted weight cotton yarn, or some people like to use acrylic for a little extra scrubby. I like cotton, and an eye hook. We're going to chain 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to half double crochet in the second chain from the hook and all the rest of the chains to the end. So since we chained 10 and we start working into the second, we'll have 9 half double crochets at the end of the first row. Almost there. This pattern is a little different in that it starts out with working in rows, and then on row 3 it'll become round 3 and we'll start working in rounds. But for these first 2 rows we're just going to work back and forth in rows here. So here at the end of row 1 we have 9 half double crochets. So I'm going to chain 1, turn, and work 9 half double crochets on the way back. So I'll meet you at the end of the second row. Okay, here we are at the end of row 2, and we're ready to work row 3. So we're going to turn, chain 1, and work 9 half double crochets just as before. This is going to start out just as if we were working any normal third row of half double crochets here. But then we're going to turn it into working in the round. If you're not familiar with the half double crochet stitch, please check my channel or my website. I do have a video tutorial on that stitch as well. Okay, so here we've got our 9 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is where instead of turning it, normally when you turn your work, you want to turn this way. For this, we're going to actually spin it clockwise, I guess you could say, yeah, and work 2 half double crochets in the ends of the rows, 1 in the end of each row. So 1 and 2. Okay, so that brings us up to 11. Then we're going to work into the opposite side of the starting chain here. Now you can see our end is right here. So we're going to work 9 half double crochets right into the bottom of the first 9 stitches we made. That first chain gets a little tight sometimes, but just go ahead and push your hook right in there. 1, 2, and I like to work into that bottom hump when I'm working into the chain. So having done that, now I've got two loops to work under here. If you like to work into the back loop only or under the top 2, you might be working into the bottom hump. Now it doesn't matter, it's just the 2 that were underneath your hook when you made your first row, or the 1, again, however you like to make that first row when you work into the chain. Okay, so we had our 9 half double crochets that we made normally, 2 at the end, 9 more here across the starting bottom. That brings us up to 20. So we're going to work 2 more half double crochets in the other ends of the rows here. 1 and 2. So we've just been spinning it in a circle, and we've turned what were rows into working in the round. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the first half double crochet of row 3. You can see we now have the bottom of our soap saver. So now it is time for round 4. We're working from the right side. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in the first stitch and double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to work this combination 5 times for a total of 10 stitches. So that's 2, single crochet 3, double crochet 4, single crochet 5, double crochet 6, single crochet 7, double crochet 8, whoops, get a little mixed up here, there we go, double crochet 8, single crochet 9, and double crochet 10. Now the instructions say after you do that, you single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So let's do that. 1, 2. Okay. Now we're going to start our cluster stitch. The cluster stitch here is a puff stitch. I have a video tutorial for puff stitches. I will link that in the article about that goes with the video on my blog. Basically, you yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then don't finish the stitch. Do that 3 more times until you have 9 loops on the hook. That's 3, and that's 4. Okay, I have 9 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 8, yarn over and pull through 2. Then, pushing that cluster, that puff stitch forward, I'm going to work a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. And you want to make those 2 single crochets kind of tight to really push that puff forward. Then it's time for another cluster stitch or puff stitch. Pull up a little bit more yarn here. It's 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through 8, pull through 2, 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2, and then another cluster stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you pull those loops all up to the same height. Pull through 8, pull through 2, and then 2 more single crochets right after that. That is the cluster stitch and single crochet in the next 2 stitches 3 times. Then we double crochet in the last stitch and join it with a slip stitch to the first single crochet of the round. And that's the end of round 4. Now this is where it's a little different than most patterns that are worked in the round. We're actually going to turn to work in round 5. So the easiest way to do this is to actually turn the whole thing wrong side out, so it doesn't feel like you're working from the inside. I'm going to go ahead and turn, chain 1, and then for round 5, I'm going to work a single crochet and then a double crochet all the way around 11 times so that we get our 22 stitches. The tricky part here is you want to make sure not to work into that slip stitch that you finished off the last round with. So if you need to, as you finish each round, you might want to put a stitch marker in the last round, or in the last stitch of each round, to make sure that that's the first one you work into in the next round, so you're not accidentally working into that slip stitch. I think this is what trips a lot of people up with this pattern. So, starting in the next stitch, we'll work a single crochet, and then a double crochet. And we're going to continue that, working a single crochet, and then a double crochet, all the way around to the end of round 5. So I'll see you at the end of this round. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 5, and I am ready to slip stitch into the first single crochet of that round. So at this point, I'll go ahead and turn it back right side out so that our clusters are on the outside again, and I'll chain 1. Now for round 6, what we do is we repeat round 4. I'll go ahead and show you that. Again, trying not to work into that slip stitch. You don't want to do that because then you end up with an extra stitch. You work into the last stitch of the previous round with a single crochet, then a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to repeat that combo 5 times. So this is repeat number 2, and 3, and 4, and then 5. Okay, after we have done that 5 times, then we again single crochet 2, 1, and 2, and then we're ready to work our cluster stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop 4 times. 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, pull through 8, pull through 2. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and make another cluster stitch. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, pull through 8, pull through 2. Keep those cluster stitches popping out. Sometimes they get pushed in while you're working, and that's okay. You can just pop them out again at the end. There's 2. Another cluster stitch. And then single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. And then double crochet in the last stitch of the round. And again, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet of the round. Now from here, I'm going to turn it wrong side out and work the single crochet, double crochet all the way around again for row 7, and keep repeating the cluster row, then the wrong side row, the cluster row, the wrong side row, until we have 4 sets of bobbles just like that. So I'll meet you as soon as that's done. So here we are at the end of round 11. We worked rounds 4 and 5 and then repeated that 3 times for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've turned, we're back on the right side. So for round 12, we're going to chain 1 and then half double crochet in each stitch around. That chain 1's a little loose. Let me make that again here. There we go. And then half double crochet in each stitch around. Again, not working into that slip stitch. Now if you're wondering why on earth we turned when we were working in the round rather than just continuing to work in rounds, it's because of those cluster stitches. Not that cluster stitches can't be worked in the round, but when you do them in the round like that, what will happen is because crochet stitches aren't straight up and down, they lean slightly to the right, the cluster stitches would start leaning to the right. In order to keep them right on top of each other so that they're just nice and straight, what we need to do is turn each round. That way, the wrong side rows tilt us back the other direction. We're coming around the front now. You can see those clusters lined up nice and straight. Again, we've got 22 stitches in each row, so there should be 22 half double crochets at the end of this round. Okay, into the last stitch, and there we have it. Now the way I like to end off with this pattern is to break the yarn before you've joined to that first half double crochet, pull through and do a seamless join. I have a demonstration of this in my video, Seamless Finishing, when working in the round. It was actually the first video I ever made, shot on a friend's iPhone, so not quite the same as they are today. Now for this, instead of working into the first stitch we made, we're going to seamless join to the second stitch. And the reason we do this is that we have just the right number of openings in between our half double crochet stitches in order to work our drawstring. So work that down so that it looks like a regular stitch. Basically what you do is you go under the stitch from the front with the needle, come back, and down through the top of the last stitch of the round. Again, you can watch my video on that for a better view of seamless finishing. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop there. We'd weave our ends in a lot better, obviously, if this was one we were getting ready to give someone or use ourselves. And then that's it for the bag. What you would do then is use your hook and some more yarn to tightly chain. You could use a smaller hook even. I just went ahead and used the eye hook for this. But tightly chain about 12 inches and then weave them through with a needle. Usually you use a needle. Weave that drawstring through the tops of the half double crochet stitches to create the drawstring. And that's all there is to the Pampering Massage Soap Saver. Thanks for watching.